Back in 1995, the X-Men were arguably Marvel's biggest franchise, so changing the status quo of these beloved characters would be a risky move. However, Marvel did just this, with the Age of Apocalypse. Before we get to what the Age of Apocalypse is, it makes sense to tell you exactly how we got there. It all started in a story called Legion Quest, which was a 4-part crossover between the X-Men and the Uncanny X-Men. In this, David Haller, aka Legion, the son of Charles Xavier, travelled back in time with the intention of killing Magneto, prior to the countless crimes against humans and mutants that the Master of Magnetism would commit. However, things went awry and Legion accidentally killed his father, Professor X. This meant that the X-Men as we knew them never were, and the future was forever changed. This leads us into the Age of Apocalypse itself, in which Magneto leads the X-Men in honour of his late friend Charles, with Apocalypse attacking 10 years earlier than he did in the original timeline and taking control of the Earth. The Age of Apocalypse was written and drawn by a who's who of 90s creators, such as Scott Lobdell, Mark Waid, Warren Ellis, Roger Cruz, Andy Kubert and Tony Daniel. The storyline starts with X-Men Alpha, a one-shot with a typically 90s chromium cover that set the stage for the new status quo. And it wasn't just the timeline that had changed. All the X-Men comics were replaced by new titles for 4 months. For example, Uncanny X-Men was replaced by Astonishing X-Men, Cable was replaced by X-Man, and X-Force was replaced by Gambit and the Externals, just to name a few. The X-Men as you knew them also had new looks and relationships, with Wolverine now sporting one hand and Rogue being in a romantic relationship with Magneto. Even the alliances we knew and loved had changed, with Sabretooth now being a member of the X-Men and the likes of Cyclops and Beast now being aligned with the evil Apocalypse. However, there were glimmers of the X-Men universe we knew and loved still intact, with Bishop travelling back in time to fix what had previously been done by Legion, and to ensure the timeline as we previously knew it actually came to be. There are even ramifications for other members of the Marvel Universe that are not part of the X-Men family. In the 2-issue X-Universe series, we see familiar names such as Victor Von Doom, Tony Stark and Bruce Banner, but not in their recognisable forms, as their future too was removed due to Legion's actions. After 4 months, the story ended with X-Men Omega, and the timeline was reset, although there were a few changes with characters seen over the previous 4 months now being involved in the regular X-Men universe. In regards to reading the series, of course you get the most of it by reading every comic involved, but that's not to say you have to. I would personally recommend starting with X-Men Alpha, reading the 4-issue Astonishing X-Men, Amazing X-Men, Factor X and X-Man series, bookended by X-Men Omega. That way you get the core story featuring the core characters you know and love. Then, if you want more from the universe, you can always go back and read the remaining series. Now, this video isn't intended to spoil the storyline, but more to entice you to go to a local comic shop and pick up the original issues or collected editions. Take it from me, if you want an epic X-Men story that doesn't rely on you knowing decades of previous events, the Age of Apocalypse is most certainly the way to go, and is a massive bright spot for the 90s X-Men. So please leave any comments regarding the Age of Apocalypse below, whether you loved it, whether you hated it, whether you were indifferent to it, and be sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel for more great pop culture content. Until next time!